What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Average Joe on Money Financial channel, and in this video we are talking about Vanguard Index Funds. Woohoo! You guys know I love Vanguard Index Funds, and I'm a pretty big fan of Fidelity Index Funds as well, but you know, I've got my origin story and it kind of involves Vanguard. And recently I did a video on the top 5 Fidelity Index Funds that are crushing the S&P 500 right now, year-to-date 2020, and I would be remiss if I didn't touch on Vanguard's index funds that are crushing the S&P 500 to the tune of even double the S&P 500 year-to-date 2020. So make sure to stick around all the way to the end of the video because I'm going to break down the top 8 Vanguard index funds that are crushing the S&P 500 so far this year. I know I'm going to get a bunch of comments on this, so I'm just going to say it here straight away. I did not look at the sector ETFs for Vanguard. I know that there are some that are just crushing it. And just to let you know, I will cover those in a future video here next week. So just know that I see that they're there. I know that they're killing it. They're crushing the competition. But, you know, sector ETFs are not for everybody, and I want to cover those by themselves. So I'm not going to allow you any type of comments in the comments below about how I didn't include the Vanguard sector ETFs. You guys know how much I hate long and drawn out BS videos that waste your time. So without further delay, let's go ahead and jump right onto my computer screen and start looking at some Vanguard index funds. All right, guys, we're counting it down here. We're starting with the number 8 Vanguard index fund. And truthfully, we're talking about Vanguard exchange traded funds, ETFs, which a big win here is that with the Vanguard ETFs, you can own them with Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab or M1 Finance or Robinhood or wherever you want to own your investments. You can own exchange traded funds from Vanguard. And that's a great idea because they got a lot of them that are crushing the S&P 500 so far this year. Number 8 on the list here is the Vanguard Russell 2000 Growth ETF. Ticker symbol here is VTWG. And this is a small cap growth ETF, and it tracks the Russell 2000. And as you can see here from the product summary, it invests in stocks in the Russell 2000 Growth Index, which are the stocks in that index that are growth oriented. You can see here right off the bat, we've got an expense ratio of 0.15%. Current share price, $192.22. If you scroll down here, you can see that there are 1,146 different positions in this ETF. The top 10 holdings only hold 7.1%, so there's super amount of diversification in this ETF, where compared to like the S&P 500, you've got, you know, almost 20 to 25% of the index made up in just the top 10 stocks. And if you pop over here to the investment returns tab, you can see here that the year-to-date return as of December 3rd, 2020 is 24.01%. And just for your reference, the S&P 500 we're utilizing is going to be from Vanguard, VOO, and year-to-date they're only up 15% compared to 24. Now 15 is nothing to rub your noses at. That's 15 is great, but 24 is a lot better. If you're going to utilize the Vanguard Russell 2000 Growth ETF, you're going to use it in conjunction with, unless you love small cap stocks, you're going to use it in conjunction with a mid cap or large cap or maybe a total market index fund to give you a lot more balance with your small cap index. All right, here number 7 on the list is one that I own in my own Vanguard Roth IRA portfolio, and that is the Vanguard Small Cap Growth ETF. Ticker symbol is VBK. You can see here right off the bat, expense ratio is only 0.07%. So if you're thinking you want to own a small cap growth ETF index fund and you didn't like the Russell 2000, then the small cap growth ETF, VBK, is going to be the right one for you. You can see here it tracks the CRSP US Small Cap Growth Index. And if we scroll down here, we can see that the number of stocks in this index is 589 in this ETF. And you can see the top 10 holdings, again, only represent 7.8% of the total index, which means you've got a lot of diversification here. And if you pop down here to the price and performance tab and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see some year-to-date figures here. You can see year-to-date as of December 3rd, 2020, that the returns for this ETF, 25.69%, which again is crushing, I think is the word I was looking for, the S&P 500. Again, like I said, a great way to complement your overall portfolio and balance it out is to have a small cap presence. And this is the one that I own in my own portfolio as well. All right, number 6 on the list here is the Vanguard Extended Market Exchange Traded Fund. Ticker symbol is VXF. And you can see here we've got an expense ratio of 0.06%, ultra low here. And this tracks a benchmark index that measures the investment returns of, it's a blend here, of the small and mid-sized companies, a blend between small and mid. So if you're looking for a way to just combine the two, then this might be a great option for you. The Extended Market ETF, Growth ETF, excuse me. The Extended Market ETF might be a great solution for you. If we scroll down here, we can see that the holdings in this, here we've got 3,000 3,294 different holdings. And the top 10 holdings only make up 12%. You can see here, we've got Tesla as the #1 holding here. So something to think about is as Tesla moves its way into the S&P 500, it likely will be rebalanced out of some of these smaller exchange traded funds. Something to think about and consider that the returns might not be as significant, maybe not as much volatility as they have had in the past. So it's still not a bad idea to have a mix of the small, mid, and large companies above and beyond what you might want to go with in the total market. But that might influence your decision as to how much weighting you put in an extended market ETF. With respect to performance here, if we look down here at the year-to-date earnings, we've got, let's see here, year-to-date 12/3/2020, we've got 25.05%. Again, crushing the S&P 500 so far this year. All right, number 5 here on the list is the Vanguard Mid-Cap Growth ETF, ticker symbol VOT, another Vanguard ETF that I own in my own M1 Finance Roth IRA portfolio. And if you look here, we can see that this is seeks to track the performance of the CRSP US Mid-Cap Growth Index. And we've got an expense ratio of 0.07%, again, ultra low here. And if we scroll down here, we can see that there are 157 different stocks in this exchange traded fund. And of those 157 holdings, the top 10 make up 14.2% of the holdings. Now, something to think about here, you only get 157 holdings with VOT. So there's going to be a little bit more volatility, a little more risk, and less diversification than you would get with that extended market. So if your goal is ultra diversification, maybe the Vanguard Extended Market ETF would be a good blend between mid and small. However, if that doesn't bother you, and it doesn't bother me, I hold this individually as opposed to the extended market, might be a great fit for you. And if we look here at the price and performance tab, we can see that year to date, the Mid-Cap Growth ETF is up as of 12/3/2020, 29.25%. That is nearly double the S&P 500 so far year to date. All right, number 4 here on the list is the Vanguard S&P 500 Growth ETF. We're moving into the large cap index funds and ETFs here. Vanguard S&P 500 Growth ETF, ticker symbol here is VOOG, and it's got an expense ratio of 0.10%, really low, not quite as low as some of the others, but still ultra low compared to the overall index fund market. It invests in stocks in the S&P 500 Growth Index, so companies that are much more growth oriented as opposed to value or some sort of a blend of the two. So if we scroll down here, we can see that this index makes up 282 different stocks, and of those 282, you've got the top 10 largest holdings make up 45.2%. You can see here Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Nvidia, Adobe, companies that you've definitely heard of, or at least most of those. You can see how they're staples of our economy, and they are definitely growth-oriented companies. Year to date, as of December 3rd, 2020, this ETF is up 29.36%, which again is almost double the S&P 500. This S&P 500 Growth ETF might be a great fit for you, but you might want to look closely at the next 3 as well, because they outperformed this one and they might be just a better fit for your portfolio. Let's go there now. All right, number 3 here on the list, we've got the Vanguard Russell 1000 Growth ETF. Ticker symbol here is VON as in Nancy, GVONG, and this tracks the Russell 1000 Growth Index. And so we're going to see here expense ratio 0.08%, ultra low here. And if we scroll down, we can see from the market here, we've got 450 different stocks in this exchange traded fund. Top 10 holdings, 46%, very similar to what we just saw with the S&P 500 growth. Just a lot more holdings here. The same companies though, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Visa, the same. We've got Tesla in here at number 8. And that might change. You might actually see Tesla jump. You will see Tesla jump into that S&P 500 Growth ETF we saw. They just haven't done it yet, whereas this one has been tracking the Russell 1000 instead of the S&P 500. So it's already been tracking Tesla in the index. And if we look here at the performance year to date for this ETF as of 12/3/2020, we're at 33.35%, over double what the S&P 500 has done so far this year. This may be a great fit for your portfolio, but there's still 2 more left, so make sure you stick around all the way to watch those 2. They are outperforming all the other 6 before us. All right, number 2 on this list, we've got the Vanguard Growth ETF. Ticker symbol is VUG. This one might be a better fit than the previous 2. If you're looking for even lower cost, we've got the expense ratio here as of 0.04%, which is such a low number. You can see here in this ETF, we've got 257 different holdings, and you're gonna see a lot of the same names, a lot of the same percentages here. Top 10 holdings, 47%. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Visa, Tesla, Home Depot. Just a few tweaks there, but for the most part, you're gonna see a lot of the same holdings across these top 4 here. But the difference comes down to the performance of this ETF compared to the other two. It's higher. And here's that performance right here. Year to date through December 3rd of 2020, we're looking at performance for this ETF, 35.55%. That is again more than double the S&P 500 performance year to date. All right, number 1 here on this list, blowing away its competitors, is number 1, the Vanguard Mega Cap Growth ETF, and that is ticker symbol M as in Mary, GK. This is in my holdings of my Roth IRA with M1 Finance as well. You can see here that the expense ratio is 0.07%, ultra low, and it tracks the performance of the biggest companies in the CRSP Mega Cap Growth Index. So if we scroll down here, we can see in there we've only got 100 companies, 100 stocks. That's it. And the top 10 holdings make up 56.6%. It is definitely a play on the biggest growth companies here in the United States. We've got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Visa, Tesla's in there, Home Depot, and MasterCard. This ETF by far is the top performing ETF we're looking at here. And if we look here at the year-to-date returns as of year-to-date 2020, December 3rd, 2020, we were at 36.63% year-to-date, which is epic. It's just crushing the S&P 500. All right, there you have it, guys. The top 8 Vanguard Index Funds, or ETFs really, that are just crushing the S&P 500 year-to-date 2020. Doesn't mean you all own all 8, because you can see there's definitely some overlap here, right? You can definitely get some balance between the large, mid-cap, small cap, and get a blend there, and depending on your risk and depending on your risk profile, depending on what your time frame is, will dictate how aggressive you want to be with these types of ETFs, because they're definitely growth oriented for the most part. Make sure to leave your 2 cents in the comments below. Which of these Vanguard ETFs do you own in your own portfolio? Which ones did I leave out that you own that you think need consideration? And of course, if you have suggestions or recommendations for future content for me, for whether it's investing, index funds, dividend stocks, you name it, let me know. Leave your 2 cents in the comments below. If you want to be alerted to all of my future Vanguard Index Fund videos, all of my dividend investing videos, and everything in between, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the next video I'm gonna make is about those Vanguard sector ETFs that are really blowing away the competition. Shh. That's all I got for you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and please, during this pandemic, please continue to stay healthy, both physically and financially. Have a good one.